welcome back to the Imaginary Gallery. It's TJ, your host. We're in the Narcissist bag of tricks, which is overflowing, but there's still more. The next subject for the evening comes again from Without Conscience, the book by Robert D. Hare PhD, which describes some of the characteristics of the cluster B creature that are important to know about. The next one of which is the need for excitement. Now, I've mentioned in other videos, this also encompasses their risk-taking behaviors, regardless of the consequences, because remember, they're not real people. They can do things most of us would never think of doing and think nothing of it, as long as the desired result is obtained. Dr. Hare tells us these creatures have an ongoing and an excessive need for excitement. They long to live within the fast lane or on the edge, wherever the action is. In many cases, the action involves breaking the rules. In the book called Mask of Sanity on page 208, Henry Cleckley describes a psychopathic psychiatrist who never broke the law to any significant extent, but who was not able to tolerate the self-containment required by professional life and went on periodic binges. During these weekend outbursts, it would shatter its image as a professional caregiver by degrading, insulting, and even physically threatening any lady who found herself within its company. Some of these creatures use a wide variety of drugs as a part of their general search for something new and exciting, and they often move from place to place and job to job searching for a fresh buzz. One adolescent that they interviewed had a novel way of keeping his juices flowing. Somehow, weekend after weekend, he persuaded all of his buddies to play chicklin with a freight train on a bridge that was over a river. The group would stand on that bridge, facing the train, and the first one to jump would have to buy a beer for all the rest of them. The subject, which was a highly persuasive machine gun conversationalist, never once had to buy the beer. Many of these creatures describe doing crime for excitement or thrills. When asked if they ever did crazy or dangerous things just for fun, one of their lady subjects replied,
"Yeah, lots of things. What I find most exciting is walking through airports with drugs. Christ, what a high!"
A male creature said he enjoyed his job as an enforcer for a drug dealer because of the adrenaline rush. He says,
"When I'm not on the job, I'll go into a bar and walk up to someone and blow smoke in its face, and we'll go outside and fight. And usually he ends up liking me, and we'll go back in and have a drink together or something."
The television documentary Diabolical Minds contained an interesting segment on G. Daniel Walker, a criminal with a long record of fraud, robbery, rape, and murder, and a penchant for bringing lawsuits against everybody in sight. Interviewed by former FBI agent Robert Ressler, this Walker offered this comment, quote,
"There is a certain excitement when you have escaped from a major penitentiary and you know the red lights are behind you and you know the sirens are going off. There's a certain excitement that you just, well, it's better than sex. Oh, it's exciting."
The flip side of this yearning for excitement is an inability to tolerate the routine or the monotonous. You are not likely to find them engaged in occupations or activities that are dull, repetitive, or that require a lot of concentration over a long period of time. The author says he can imagine that these creatures might function reasonably well as air traffic controllers, but only while things are hectic and fast-paced. During slow periods, they would likely goof off and go to sleep, assuming that they even showed up for work. In my own experience with such creatures, I have actually witnessed this particular trait. One example I can think of would be the two of us in the 11-year relationship. We both had to work Saturday morning, early, 8 o'clock. Every so often, though, there'd be like a birthday celebration of one of my friends or coworkers that would be at some local restaurant/bar, and I would want to attend. So I would say, "Hey, Friday, so-and-so's having a birthday celebration at Hooters or wherever, so I thought we should go for a dinner there." And of course it would be agreed upon. And because I felt like the parent, I'd say things like, "But we both have to work in the morning, so I thought maybe we could just go there at 8 o'clock, have our dinner, have a few drinks, visit, and then go home by maybe 10:30 or something, and be able to be refreshed for the next morning. And the creature would say, oh, that sounds like a good idea. So I'd think, great. So we'd go, and I felt comfortable because I've been through situations where you're up too late and have to work the next morning and just cannot function the way you should. Well, guess what would happen? This creature would get the idea or a phone call from somebody or a tip from someone else and say, oh, I want to go to another bar too. And I first think, okay, well, we have to go to bed soon though. And we'd go. But then it became a situation where, even though we both had to be at work at 8 a.m., let's go here. There'd be times when we'd go there and end up staying there, and then it would be like way too late. We'd go back to the home at an ungodly hour, and then the next day was miserable working. So I would be the adult there and learn from that experience. So the next time we'd have such an event, I'd say, specifically, once this dinner's over, we've got to go home because we both work. And of course, the creature always agreed initially. But then, once again, the dreaded moment would come. Oh, I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to go to this other bar. Oh, it's going to be, I'm having fun. I'm having fun. And I think, okay, child, who doesn't understand responsibility, we have to get up early. And we've done it before where we stay out and it doesn't work. But in my opinion, it would seem like this person doesn't learn from its mistakes. But that's off the point. That's not really describing what's happening. What it is these creatures have the need for excitement, which outweighs any other problem or potential problem. So they just want to do what they want to do, and then you end up looking like the bad guy. You end up looking like the nag who says, come on, let's go home, but you are the one that knows. The last time we stayed out at this type of event, we were miserable the next day. Do you want to repeat that? And then you sound like a parent, and of course they're the defiant child, and they're going to say whatever they say. I'm having fun, oh, you're such a whatever. And no, I'm being realistic, and I'd say we made this agreement ahead of time because we knew we had to be up, yet this creature is the one who's changing everything, who initially agreed to it, and then manipulates the situation to make you look like the bad person when you are simply being sensible. And I also get the parts in here about the adrenaline rush they get because, keep in mind, Cluster B creatures do not feel, typically, the regular emotions that others do, such as if there's a beautiful sunset outside your home and you gain pleasure by going out there and just looking at it and enjoying it. Well, that's boring. This creature wants to create some kind of problem. It wants to do something it shouldn't, which also includes the types that tell you you're the only one, and they'd never even look at someone else. But then, if your back is turned, they end up pursuing someone else. And of course, if you dare to notice and mention it, I saw you chasing after that chick over there, what's the big deal?
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I was talking to someone behind her.
Or something they'll make up. The fact of the matter is, that's excitement. That's them thinking to themselves, because you're an object, remember, I've got my object here with me, the one that I'm with, and this hot chick over there, and she likes me. I think she does. I got her phone number, or gave her my phone number, and my partner doesn't know. And oh, it's like excitement for these creatures because they are, once again, children trapped in adult bodies. So they get off on this stuff, knowing that if you happen to know what they were really doing, for real, you would be furious, and that gives them supply. And when you step forward and say, hey, I noticed you looking at that lady, Canty Cantaloupes, and you were touching her, what's the story? That is giving them their supply. But of course, their face will be in character of, I don't know what you're talking about. You're paranoid? You're insecure. You have problems. Oh, you need help. And then, of course, you go in the bathroom and they run off and do whatever with Candy Cantaloupes. You're the one who's blamed. And I'm here to tell you that, nope, they're playing a game and you are sucked in it. And if you are involved in such a thing, the best thing to do is, without explanation, exit. Because it's only going to get worse.
I am the Narcopath. I know you missed me, didn't you? Once again, I'm being required to follow along and give you the relevant information.
It's time for some confessions from the Narcopath. Prepare yourself.
I understand you're talking about the need for excitement. Well, honey, that pretty much sums me up now, doesn't it?
Not only did I have the highest heels at the Shady Lady, I had the best body and the best teeth. It looked really good, shining out with glitter on that stage, on that pole as I slid up and down it and licked it.
Narco, stick to the subject of
Fine. I'm supposed to stick to the subject. Since I'm your ex-narcopath, I can tell you, you're entirely too uptight. I mean, you care about things like if you lie to somebody, you worry it's going to bother you later, and I'm here to tell you that if you're the narcopath, you don't care about lies. Lies simply means nothing, because pretty much everything the narcopath says is a lie, as you all call it. I call it an opportunity device. For example, if you don't like Muslims, and I'm interested in dating you because I know you got some money I could get my hands on, but I'm a Muslim, and I hear you talk about being anti-Muslim, well, honey, guess what? I can't stand those Muslims. They're terrible. Oh, you don't like them either? Oh, we should talk. And it works every time because I'm so talented. You think the truth would help out in a situation like that? I don't think so. You see how the truth gets in the way? Now, sometimes the truth will help, but most of the time, I don't give a crap about the truth because all it would do is hurt me. For example, if you're anti-Muslim and I shook my teeth in front of you and said, ooh, baby, 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 ooh, I want you, and you started to talk, and I mentioned, oh, I am a devout Muslim, you'd probably slap me in the face and go the other direction. I couldn't have that. If I needed you for something, I couldn't accept that. So I automatically became a non and an anti-Muslim. See how it works? I don't know what this crap is you all have called guilt. If I lie and I get away with it, then I feel like I've achieved something great. It's like a slot machine, a casino, jingling away thousands and millions of dollars for me. So you and I have a different view on the truth. You seem to want to get yourself in trouble for doing wrong things, and actually did, as far as I know, and I just can't comprehend that. With you, I know how you were paranoid about me meeting your brother because so many people throughout your teenage life thought he was cuter than you. So I just assured you that, oh, I'm sure you're better than him. And of course we had to meet that one time, even though you didn't want us to. Well, it had to happen. I told you, oh, you have nothing to worry about, honey. You are the most hottest guy in that family. He's not attractive at all. That's where I started my game, because I like excitement. The moment your back was turned, I unbuttoned my top just a little bit more and turned towards your brother and said, hi. So, how long have you been playing golf? And I made sure, oh, I dropped something. I did the bend and snap. Oh! But I didn't kick him in the face or smack him in the face with my hand. And I could see his eyes traveling down. My love, Slot. You were away for a few minutes, so I made my move. I told him that you and I were just friends and that I was only pretending to be a girlfriend just so he'd look good in front of the family. I said I knew who he was before we started dating. I only wanted to use him to get close to you. And he believed it. And I told him, oh, but please don't tell anyone I said this, because he beats me. I didn't want to tell his parents, but he's violent. All, of course, was a lie, but he bought it. There's something strange about teeth. They get some men to do just anything, including him. So I told him all kinds of fake stories about you. In fact, sometimes I couldn't think of any, so I just had to resort to telling him the things I did to you, you did to me. Like that time I slapped you in the face with that pan. Well, honey, you deserved it. You didn't need to be spying on me. But I told him you slapped me in the face with a pan because I simply told you that I loved you. He bought it. He said that's just like you. So I know what I'm doing. Point is, a regular person like you could never get away with such antics. You'd be eaten alive with guilt. You'd be worried with that remorse or whatever it's called. And empathy, which I think that's for the birds. I am a higher-level human than you, obviously, because I'm not pulled down by such trappings, which means I get what I want. Sometimes that means doing things like I did with your brother, because eventually you walked in on us, and we were both nude, and it was just after I had told you about 30 minutes previous. Really, I find your brother disgusting. I would never touch him. And then you caught us. Well, honey, to me, that's excitement. It gives me pleasure, or what you all call narcissism. narcissistic reply. I just know it gives me pleasure. When you tried to question me and talk about how I'd said this and said, I knew all that, but do you think I was going to buy into it in front of you? When you said you just told me 30 minutes ago you would never touch my brother, and now I find you naked in that room with him. Well, honey, I just made up another story and said,
Oh, I really need to talk to you. He forced me to go in there with him. I told him no, but he threatened me and said he would hurt me, maybe even kill me. So I went with him. Please, you have to believe me.
And of course, to him, the brother, I'd said,
This is just a temporary setback. We'll get together soon. Don't tell anybody.
so I had the best of both worlds. That's what I do, because I need excitement in my life. I can't be satisfied with some stupid sunset and that makes my day, unless it's burning somebody else alive. We're just different. I'm the Narcopath, giving you my confession.